it's my pleasure to be here with you today. And we are so happy to co-host this together with the Swedish Olympic Committee, which we've had an excellent cooperation with during several months. I feel like it's almost a year now that we are working together to make this a success. And we're hosting a reception together afterwards. So I hope you can all make it and join us upstairs in the restaurant and in the garden for that. Optimistically, this weekend I had bought tickets to the one of the women's football games, thinking that Sweden would qualify, but I had the pleasure anyway of seeing a Swedish referee in the football game between Japan and the USA. And she has also been doing some refereeing during the men's game in this Olympics. And I think this is the first time that referees are selected based on their merits only. And it's great, but it's too late. I think we can summarize it as this. So I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you today. You have a lot of experience in women's leadership in sports, and perhaps also some ideas on how we can speed up progress. So with all these few words, a warmly welcome to this seminar, and join us upstairs later. Thank you.
Thank you. I can just place it down there. Thank you so much, Åsa, and we're so happy to be here. My name is Joanna Hemming. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at the Swedish Olympic Committee, and I will be your host during this session today. And since there is a reception, I am obligated to, when we stop, you all just rush up to the embassy's reception and hurry up, and we will continue these important conversations and share ideas. Okay, so we're not finished by this seminar, no way. So warm welcome everyone here to Sweden Arena. This is where the Swedish Olympic Committee are hosting events and things that we do around the Olympics here in Paris 2024. And this Summer Olympics is also the first ever to achieve gender parity when it comes to athlete representation. And today we will discuss factors that contributed to this milestone as it is. And also, what is the current and future significance of this happening in 2024? What responsibilities do the sports movement, the politics, and also media have to ensure equal opportunities for men and women in sports? And how can the business sector contribute? But first of all, I would like to welcome to the stage a true legend of the Olympic movement. She started working at the Swedish Olympic Committee's office as a secretary in 1969, and in 1984 became Assistant General Secretary. In 1989, she assumed the post of General Secretary at the Swedish Olympic Committee, a post she held until 2023, and now board member of the Swedish Olympic Committee. Not only that, she was elected to the board of the European Olympic Committee's Corporation Organization in 1993 and was elected a member of the International Olympic Committee during the Atlanta Olympics in 1996. In 2000, she was elected to the IOC's board for the first time. And during the Olympics in Athens 2004, she was elected to one of the IOC's 4 vice president positions for the next 4 years. In 2011, she was again elected on the board. Member of the IOC board, General Secretary of the National Olympic Committee's corporation body, ANOC, and she is ranked in 2024 as the Olympic movement's 8th most influential person by the publication Around the Ring. Please welcome Gunilla Lindberg. There's your microphone, and just keep it close so everyone is an oval room. So, welcome, Gunilla. I'm so happy to have you here. And this historical moment here in Paris, with the gender balance among the athletes, how have you managed to make this happen?
It's not been easy. It has been a... Can you hear me?
You just put it on.
It has been a long journey. And I can say it started actually in 1981, when the first female member was elected to IOC. Before it was only men. Yeah, oh. You're very right. And then it has been quite slow development. So when I was elected in 96, we were 8 women and 95 men. So it's been a kind of interesting environment to work in. But also I never felt that I've been looked upon, that it looked down on me because I was a female. Then in 2013, I think it was, we took a decision to really work on having more women, because if we hadn't done that, it would not have happened. No. So we had a goal then for Paris 24. The athletes should be 50% men, 50% women. And of course we have to change in some sports, and we have added some mixed competitions, which has been quite successful. And also on the members of different commissions and in the Olympic committees, as you said, I'm working with 206 countries. Yes. It's improving a lot the last 5-6 years. But you have to push all the time, and also I must say in Sweden we are not so good as we think we are. Really? Really? Yeah. But of course we will have role models, but you have to fight all the time to have a result. I know Swedish Olympic Committee, I know we have a project now for women coaches. We need women coaches, but it's not just to bring a women coach and put on the position that somebody else has, because athletes are used to their own coaches. And but now I think it's a big development, and they've been working very hard with this as a project, and we are spreading the message around the world. And as you said, the first referees, now even a woman being a referee for a male competition is happening, which I don't think it would happen. But I can tell you, when I was elected in 1981 to this 89 to the Swedish Olympic Committee, it was a big discussion that it could not be a woman. That would never be possible in the international world. And they had about 3 extra board meetings to discuss if I really could discuss and talk with the other men out there in the world. So on that side it's been a progress, and it has been an interesting journey.
What were the biggest challenges?
In Sweden?
Or in the international environment?
No, I haven't really had any challenges in the international movement. I took the challenges at home.
Oh yeah, okay, good.
But I also think I've been quite successful in my job, because I've always been very close to the athletes. I've been in most of the Olympic villages. I'm looking at Josefin sitting here. We know each other, and if you have the basic knowledge, then they listen to you. And sometimes up there, not all the people have the basic knowledge. So fight for that. Don't be afraid to show that you're among them there. So
great. And that's the advice you would give to another sports organization or international national organization who would like to?
Yeah, we actually have quite a few Swedish delegates in other international organizations, and many of them are women. I don't know if Katarina is here, but she's in the International Archery Federation. We have some in skiing. You're there, yay! Good. So more and more, and don't be afraid, and never say no when you're offered a position, because that has also been the case. Oh no, I'm not good enough, or I have so much to do when my husband cannot take care of the children, etc. Yes, they can. And it's a really good motivation to see that something is happening.
And what are you hoping now that we are in Paris in 2024 and you have achieved the goal, gender equality between the athletes? 10,500 athletes, half women, half men. What do you think this will change because I mean, everyone looks at the Olympics as a role model and maybe take after. What do you think is going to happen in other sports organizations or competitions around the world after this? Does it put pressure to?
Oh yes, it put pressure to all the international federations. And then I'm looking at my colleague Åsa. Also on the media side, you have to work hard because it's not that many women sport journalists out there, and we need them, really. And they can make a change as well. Mm. And of course, it's many countries that never had women participants that have their first woman participant here in Paris, and that's a great step forward.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
My last question to you is that do you think this milestone will influence young athletes and future generations?
Yes, it will, and I think time is changing. I mean, society is changing, and it's easier maybe in the younger generation. This is not so big question as it has been in my generation and maybe a generation later, but it will, and the more role models we have out there and see it's possible, I think the more women will really try to get, and also for former athletes to have a role in the coaching or in the administration and everything like that. It's important. And then you see all the young girls see it's possible.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Gunilla, for coming here today. Thank you. So now let's go from the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, to the national level. And I am happy to welcome Secretary General of the Swedish Olympic Committee, Åsa Edlund Jönsson. Welcome, Åsa.
Thank you.
This used to be your position.
Yes, this used to be. We have a sellout crowd.
Yes,
so I see a lot of people thinking that this is an important topic. Good to have you all here.
Thank you for coming here today. I know you're busy as well. You and Gunilla are two of my role models working in the sports industry. And you're also a pioneer when it comes to, you've been almost 30 years within the sports media business. And you were the first woman to live comment ice hockey in the world. Groundbreaking. And also the first woman to become head of sports at SVT, and that's the national broadcasting in Sweden, Swedish National Television. And now the second female Secretary General at the Swedish Olympic Committee. So
big shoes to fill after Gunilla.
We all feel
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
So please give us an overview on how the Swedish Olympic Committee works with the gender issues.
First of all, I think it's important to underline that we think the best teams and the best organizations consist of both men and women. So that's our baseline. That's how we reach success. We have a gender balance in our board. I'm happy to lead gender balanced top management. I'm super proud that our support program for athletes, our top and talent program, is focusing on talent, not gender. So I'm super proud of that. But that doesn't mean that we have areas to improve in. Like Gunilla mentioned, when it comes to coaches, we have way too few female coaches. So we have started a project, and you will hear more about it. It's called Project Q. So we want to double the number of female coaches on the Olympic program in years to come. So that is super important for us if we want to be successful in the future.
And maybe that a bit answered the next question, because I'm curious about Sweden is a small country, about 10 million people, inhabitants. Why is it important for Sweden to work with equality questions?
Well, like I said, we have a tough medal target. We hope that we will reach it on this Summer Olympics. But we also, we want to do more than medals. We want to inspire and strengthen Sweden. And not only half of Sweden, all of Sweden. So we want to inspire both men, women, boys and girls. And then we need to have athletes and leaders and coaches from both genders. So this is very important for us, but very important when it comes to competitive perspective.
And also the Swedish Olympic Committee has signed up for UN Global Sports for Climate Actions, and the UN Global Goal for Gender Equality is one of the targets where we also set actions and targets to reach. So what advice could you give to maybe another Olympic committee? We're here to share any advices or milestones or challenges that you've come across or know of when it comes to leading a NOC, National Olympic Committee?
I think if you want to be successful, you really need to focus on both men and women. And I think for many, many years, we just focused on men, and then you got the results from that. Sweden had a really poor Winter Olympics in 98. We took only 3 medals. And after that, we started our support program, the Top and Talent program, focusing on both men and women. And after 20 years, we became the most successful winter sport nation at the Winter Olympics 2018 on the women's side. So focusing on something and giving support to the women can really, really make things happen. And if you want to make success as a country as a whole, you need to focus on both men and women.
And you have an extensive background within sports and media as well. How important is that for changing attitudes towards female and women in sports, media coverage?
I think Gunilla made a good remark. It's very important what media broadcast. I worked 25 years in broadcasting. And in 2015, I was head of sports at Swedish Television. And our coverage was 80% about men, 20% about women. And the Olympics back then was almost equal. So still, we had a very unbalanced sports coverage. We decided to go for a gender-balanced sport coverage, 50-50, as the first media outlet in the world. We were laughed at. People made fun of us, saying, "You're insane. Nobody will watch your programs. Nobody will care because they don't care about women's sports." In 5 years, we reached 50-50, and we showed more sports, we had more news, we increased the number of traffic to our website with 100%, we had more viewers, and actually all those who had criticized us was now calling and saying, "Hey, would you want to stop by and tell us a little bit more about that 50-50 product of yours?"
Isn't that the best feeling?
Yes. But the best feeling was that, we made a difference for Sweden, and for the next generation who could actually see female athlete. Because we say that a lot, if you can't see it, you can't be it. So you really need to show female athletes and leaders on the TV screen and in media to make an inspiration for the next generation.
Yes. And my last question to you, the long-term goals for the Swedish Olympic Committee when it comes to gender equality in sports, what is the next step?
Well, we are now really focusing on coaches because we think that could be a huge advantage for us if we can have more female coaches. We have a gender-balanced Olympic group competing here in Paris, but we have only 20% of the leaders are women, 80% are men. And we think it could be a huge advantage for Sweden if we could have more female coaches coaching the next generation. So we have put a lot of focus on that with our Project Q, and you will hear more about that soon.
Great. Thank you so much, Åsa Edlund Jönsson.
Thank you so much.
So let's talk more about coaches, because there is a major gender gap bridge there. But the powers are at work, and we're trying to make a change, or we're going to make a change. In 2021, the Swedish Olympic Committee started Project Q, and here to tell us more about this is Sweden's golf head coach, Katarina Wangdahl. Welcome.
Thank you.
So please tell us, are you nervous about the women competing right now? Is your mind in Versailles with the ladies, or is it?
No, I'm not nervous anymore. It goes over after like 30 years coaching, so
Okay.
more focus and looking forward to it.
Good. Thank you for coming here today.
Thank you.
Please tell us more about Project Q.
Project Q is actually, more female coaches on a top level in sports. It's like both Gunilla and Åsa said, it's a competitive advantage. If we could do that, we get a stronger leadership, we get a broader leadership. So it's, to use the word, it's just stupid not using that power and strength and knowledge and everything. And
it's been going on since 2021. What are the goals, the targets? What have you set? What are you going to achieve?
It's like Åsa said, we need to double. We're very few right now, but also like Gunilla said, we have to respect, because it's not a choice we can do to put more coaches there. That's the athlete's choice. So we need to have the respect for the time that will take, but the goal is to double. And I think we will get there, but it's going to take time.
Are there any other major obstacles, hinders on the way?
Yeah, absolutely, because we can work from the top, the Swedish Olympic Committee. We're doing what we can do, giving the conditions and the context. What we really need to do is to get the clubs, the sporting clubs, to want the same goal as we. We need the clubs to have the structure and the strategy willing to do this. Otherwise, it will not work. We need the federations to want the same as we do. So it's both from the top and it's also from the bottom. We need to work together.
And the results so far?
It's hard to talk about results in 2 years. I'm a golfer, it takes time. Everything takes time. So it's a little bit too early to say the results. We have, I think, with 23 coaches and 14 still in the sports. And we have one girl here. So it takes time. What is really important and helped me a lot was the role model. As you say, you know that this is the work. I had a role model when I grew up in golf, Pia Nilsson. She was the head coach. I'm not the first head coach in golf. And that made a big difference for me. I'm in a federation that really wants the same as we want, and that helps. So I have a great belief that we're going to make it.
And you have also a long career within golf. You started as a golf player, and you've been playing on the national team as well. You became pro coach and now head coach for the national team. Is there anything you bring from being an athlete to where you are today? Could you see yourself being an athlete that you would come to this position?
Yeah, it was not my first choice, to be a coach, because I was so focused on my own career. But again, I had really good role models, and when I felt that I couldn't reach the level that I wanted, there was like a community taking care of me, asked me if this could be the way for me. And I got a good education in my own sport. Again, the role model is so important, I think. For me, it was not strange. So when I got the question, it felt natural. Yeah. I didn't have a second thought. I just said, of course, I want to do this. And that helped to know that others done that before.
And other people saw your skills, I guess, as well, for asking you to.
Yeah. I hope so.
Of course they did.
No, but that's
you're one of the greatest people I know.
That is really important, because I have never put a thought that I hope so, that I got this because I'm a woman. Because it's a job. I want to do a good job. My goal is to be as good as I can. I want to be good at what I'm doing. If I'm not good at doing a good job, I want Gunnar, my boss here, I want him to tell me. If I'm doing something good, I want him to tell me that too. That's equality.
That's equality. Thank you. Please stay, and we're going to welcome up one of our other guests from the Swedish team here. I would like you to welcome up one of Sweden's most successful swimmers of all time. She is a former world champion, a European champion, and she has an Olympic bronze from Sydney. Please welcome, give a warm hand for Josefin Lillhage. Welcome, Josefin. Good to have you. I'm interested in hearing your experiences as an athlete. What challenges have you faced as a female athlete in a predominantly male sports environment?
Yeah, thanks for being here. Very honored to speak here. And as a former swimmer in our sport, we have to say we are very equal. We train together, we compete together, we have the same prize money, and our organization also treats us equally. So that's good. But I would say that the challenge we have in swimming is on the coaching side. We have more men dominate that, so we need to increase the amount of female coaches.
And you mentioned it, but how important do you think role models and mentors are for promoting gender equality in sports?
Very important, especially that we can learn from each other and produce some good examples. So, and also a lot of inspiration. Like if you can see it, you can be it. It's like so a lot of inspiration.
That's great. And what types of support and resources do you think are the most critical for female athletes to succeed?
I think we need to start on the basic level, as you talk, in the clubs, and give women a lot of tools early in their career to be leaders, educate, work with mentorships, role models. And I think also it's important to work with equal teams, that you have like a good team around you, and also there is a good structure as well as a sustainability in the team or organization.
Thank you.
And I would say also we need to take care of those great leaders, I would say. So they have a lot of experience, and so they can, as Katarina, so they can also learn these younger female leaders in turn. So yeah, that would be very good. Great.
I have some questions for both of you. How do you think media coverage of female athletes and women in sports can be improved? Katarina, have you any thoughts on that?
Ooh, tough question.
Yeah.
Just do it. I mean, if we want it, we really need to want it in our, deep down in our souls to make a difference. But again, if you could do that, that would be a big help for both athletes and coaches. So it's just decisions taking somewhere.
And when you say it's a big help, is it increasing interest for the sports? Is it sponsorship? Is it
everything, I think? And you said it inspiring. I mean, we all watch sports, and I did as a young girl, and I wanted to be there. I wanted to go there. That makes a big difference, and I think all those small things together will take us there.
Anything you would like to add, or
but to have the same, like have those role models in the sports, and give them a lot of media so they can promote the sport and do it more equal between them and women.
And we've talked about it before. The Paris Olympics are the first gender equal games ever, and with an equal number of male and female athletes. What are your thoughts on that?
Finally, great, and yes, finally, happy that we are here now, 50-50. So
took some time, but we're here.
Slowly.
But
again, I think we need to have the respect for it. It takes time, and that's okay as long as we're moving forward.
True optimistic.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Katarina Wangdahl and Josefin Lillhage.
Thank you.
And we are moving on. It is my great pleasure to welcome the two final guests on this seminar, and both of them are French. First, we have Marie-Christine Oghly, who is the Global President of Women Business Owners. Our second guest is the phenomenal athlete and 400-meter ace, Floria Guei. Give them both a warm hand and please come up here. talking about closing big gap today, so why don't we start with a classical moment in French sports, one that, to me, frankly, is unbelievable, incroyable. So, take us back to 2014 and the European Championships in 400 meters relay. And final stretch is about to start. 3 countries are way ahead of the other group. In 4th place, far behind, is France and our runner Floria Guei. Please, let's have a look.
Floria Guei qui va prendre le bâton pour la France sur les Russes aussi.
Zikova qui vient attaquer la Russe. Là, ils ont fini fort, les Russes et les Ukrainiennes.
La France est 4e, il y a du trafic, elle a perdu un peu de temps. Floria, ça va être dur. Ça va être très dur parce que le podium est dessiné là-bas.
Ouais, c'est les 3 favoris devant.
Ouais, et il n'y aura pas de podium pour le 4x4 français parce que là on revient pas. Les Russes, l'Ukraine et la Grande-Bretagne. C'est vrai qu'il y a eu un problème dans le trafic et que Floria a perdu du temps. Et on va regarder la bagarre entre l'Ukraine et la Russie, avec toujours la possibilité pour Adéoyer, alors que Floria donne tout ce qu'elle a, mais malheureusement, ce sera pas suffisant.
Ah, ça revient fort, elle revient fort. Ouais, la Britannique est en train de craquer.
Alors peut-être.
La Britannique est en train de craquer,
je pense que ça va être juste, mais elle va tout donner quand même.
La Britannique a temporisé. Elle est en train de relancer.
Elle revient, la Russie, elle va passer. Elle va passer les Russes.
That's wonderful. You're truly an inspiration for all of us. And I guess this moment remains strong in your memory. How did it change your life?
Ça a changé ma vie parce que je me suis vraiment rendu compte qu'on se mettait parfois des barrières alors qu'on peut faire de grandes choses, mais on l'ignore à partir du moment où on ne l'a pas encore fait.
It changed her life because she realized that sometimes we put ourselves some barriers, but on se met des barrières et après. Barrier and.
Pour simple, on ignore de quoi on est capable.
People are ignoring what they're capable of. People can do more than what they actually believe they can do.
And during your career, what were some of the biggest differences you have observed between male and female representation in your sport?
Alors il y a beaucoup de différences. Je dirais que la première, c'est lié au prize money dans les meetings. Parfois on a beau faire la même discipline que les garçons, on voit une différence de suite. Il y a aussi, exactement, les prize money, c'est l'argent qu'on a après avoir gagné une épreuve.
Prize money. Yeah. Okay, there's many differences. The main difference, it's prize money, what people receive when they win a competition.
Has that been changed since?
Sorry. Et la seconde, je dirais que c'est dans les médias. Il y a aussi une différence, c'est-à-dire qu'ils mettaient, il y a du progrès, heureusement, peut-être plus en avant, les hommes que les femmes. J'avais un exemple concret, j'avais remporté les championnats d'Europe en salle, et un de mes collègues aussi avait remporté les championnats d'Europe en salle. Il avait été mis en avant sur la couverture et moi en tout petit à côté, donc c'était quelque chose de très explicite.
The second difference is the media coverage. She can give, the media are putting more emphasis on men than women, and she gave a concrete example of like the World Championship that she won, and the man won as well, and he was in the cover of the magazine, and she had a very small things mentioning a victory.
Et la dernière, je dirais, c'est au niveau du management. J'ai remarqué que certains coachs, après, pas tous bien heureusement, prennent moins au sérieux si on a le moindre petit pépin physique que si un homme le mettait en avant qu'il avait une contracture, quelque chose qui le bloquait dans sa préparation.
And the third one, it comes from management. Managers are not taking as seriously women's injuries as men's injuries. Like whenever a man has a very small thing, they take it more seriously than when a woman has.
like a man's cold.
Comme un homme qui prend froid.
Thank you. And Marie-Christine, you have a very impressive CV, and you are the Global President of Women Business Owners, Vice President of WorldSkills France, and, which is very interesting to us, your work with a project called Swing, meaning supporting women in achieving their goals. It's about closing the gap. Please tell us about Swing.
So thank you for inviting me. And as it is a project I was launching, but I didn't work directly on it, I will have to read some notes. But Swing, I was part of Swing because I'm vice president of the French Corporate Sport Federation and also, as you mentioned, world president of Women Entrepreneurs. So I was both sides. It was a European-funded project, co-funded project, named Erasmus+. It includes 7 countries, 10 partners, such corporate sport federation at French level and at European level, but also hockey federation and youth women federation, European federation, and also on the other side, business women associations. Mainly the Women Entrepreneurs Association, such called FCEM, as it is a French association, which became a world association in 1957. The aim of that project was really to plant seeds for a better governance in sport bodies. It's also kind of a catalyst to change the gender mainstream. And while giving a tremendous boost to women access to leadership position in this sector.
And what have you achieved during the way? Anything you would like to share with the audience?
So what we already done. In fact, this program was a mentoring program between sport leaders who were wishing to be elected at head of federation or association or Olympic federation, etc. And we had mentees coming from women entrepreneur side. Because we can find similar problems. It has been mentioned earlier, we still have the syndrome de l'imposteur, imposter syndrome. We still have that in mainly my generation, but talking with you, I was discovering that it's still a bit, I'm not sure I will be able, or I will wait, I'm not sure now. So what we already done, we organized 7 partnership meetings where we had the mentees and the mentors. We had orientation session for women entrepreneurs to know better the sport environment, and also for women in sport. We had training in leadership. We had different type of training, coaching more on skills. We made a European workshop, which was called Sport in Europe, How to Nurture and Support Inclusion Makers, Champions of Change from Within. And we had a European final conference, What if women were the missing link in helping the sports sector to modernize? That was the past.
That was the best.
It was until 2022. And now what we are doing and what we are working on a toolbox to help organizing on-site and online meetings, very dedicated, and you can find that. I will give you the information later. Communication tools to women who want to candidate and to make campaign to be elected at the head of a sport federation, because it's something that women are not so familiar. We are always thinking, I'm good, I'm the best, so they will come to me. I don't have to go to promote myself. But yes, you have, and men are doing that very well. We produced also 9 intellectual outputs, which provide a framework for strategic approach to ensuring appropriate education, training, and support systems. those documents, those booklets are available to anyone on the web. These handbooks have been developed to present, of course, the swing framework, but also for practical action, and also with examples in different large companies, not only French. It was some French companies such ENGIE, such Veolia, but it is also foreign companies, European companies. And we want to help the other organization and the stakeholders to replicate this swing model in the future. And our hope, it's really to multiply the impact and really change this status quo that we talked already about.
That's fantastic. And Floria, when you hear Marie-Christine talk about swing, what are your thoughts?
Je pense que c'est une très bonne chose, donc merci à vous pour cette initiative.
She thinks it's a great thing and she thanks her for the initiative.
Car c'est pas évident effectivement de pouvoir préparer son après-carrière, pardon.
Because it's not easy to prepare what you're doing after your career.
Donc pouvoir avoir un mentor est une chance.
To be able to have a mentor is a luck. It's lucky to have a mentor.
Parce qu'on a tendance à être un peu perdu, à ne pas savoir par où commencer pour commencer une nouvelle vie.
Because people athletes are a bit lost. They just don't know where to start a new life.
Donc c'est une chance pour nous qu'ils puissent avoir ce type d'intervention.
And what I didn't say, we are continuing on the women entrepreneur side to mentor some women who had a sport career, and we done it quite recently with a French boxer.
And what are your visions for the future when it comes to female leadership in sports?
It's a lot of similarities between women leaders in sport and women in business. We have the same problems. And unfortunately, even if we were against quota, I think it's the only way to improve. So we can see that the French or the Paris Olympic Games are the first version of Olympic Games with real equality. And I really think it can work both sides. Economic or business can give example to sport, and sport can give example also to business. It's why I think it's really important that we can work together. And so I still have 2 years to go for Women Entrepreneurs Association as president, but I would like to empower or to reinforce this link between sport and between business, because what I faced, it's maybe more difficult for sport women and mainly those who have been in light. To have another life after it. For us, it's different. We had our career and we are successful or not in business. But when you have been very successful and you have to change your career, you have to find your way. You don't know to who to talk. And I think we need, as women, we need to help women in sport and women in sport leaders, not only to become president of federation, but also to have a new career and why not to become entrepreneurs.
Exactly. Wonderful. And my last question, Floria, when you look into the crystal bowl for the future, what do you think the future holds for women in sport and sports leadership?
Avant cela, est-ce que je peux rebondir sur la question précédente? Je voudrais en profiter.
Before that, she'd like to complete on the precedent question.
Just 1 second. Je voudrais en profiter pour remercier Business France qui actuellement m'aide justement pour mon après-carrière. Et ça me permet d'être beaucoup plus sereine par rapport à ça.
She would like to thank Business France because Business France is actually helping her for a future career. Business France is sponsoring Floria.
Thank you. Et pour répondre à votre question, je suis plutôt optimiste par rapport à la suite, bien que j'imagine bien qu'il va falloir être patiente et faire preuve de résilience.
She feels very optimistic when it comes to the future, even though she understands she's going to have to be patient and resilient.
Mais quand je regarde ce qui a été fait avant nous, les femmes qui se sont battues,
But when she looks back at what women have done before or women have fought before,
pour faire entendre nos voix, notamment pour participer aux Jeux Olympiques, tout simplement.
to get the voice of women heard, just to take part of the Olympic Games only.
Je me dis que ça ne peut pas s'arrêter là et qu'il faut poursuivre cette lancée.
She believes it can't just stop like this. She has to go on, and we have to move on this trend, this dynamic. Thank you.
We'll go for that. Thank you, Floria. And my last question to you, is there any advice or anything you would like to add to this fantastic audience we have here?
I will say to any woman in sport or in business or in her life, don't be afraid. Don't think you don't have competencies. Just go ahead. Make yourself, promote yourself. Don't wait that someone else will do it for you. Just do it.
Fantastic last word. Thank you so much. Here. Just putting them. So many fantastic words, people sharing, and I look forward to what the future holds. This seminar is coming to a close. And I am certainly inspired by all our amazing guests. And please continue these conversations, the reflections after the seminar when we go to the reception. And a lot of work has been done. We've been hearing about that today. But there is still a lot of work to do. So we're not going to give in. We just keep on doing it. Thank you.